I'm going to talk to you guys from a perspective. I'm going to talk to you first briefly about the 7 toxicities. And I think that's going to be important because, as you mentioned, with this issue with you're getting chelation, adrenal exhaustion, you had an interest in heavy metal toxicity. And everybody kind of has an interest in exploring. You're checking me out, wanting to know a little bit more information on becoming more enlightened, more informed. So let me dissect this all back down into the foundation first. And that foundation started off as 3 toxicities, then went to 4, 5, and then jumped to 7. And my philosophy, my belief system, what I have proven to myself and what I have established our practice on and what we have gotten an international reputation in specific areas, specifically autism and cancer, is based upon this 7 toxicity foundation. So I'll first very briefly go through those 7 toxicities, and one of those toxicities is actually what we're supposed to be talking about today, which is energetics or energy medicine. So the first toxicity is heavy metals. Now, why is it the first? By the way, these toxicities are in this order not because of relevance as far as what's more important for a person to address and then next important. It's not that. It's really more in the order that they were discovered or that I realized them. So there's no priority based upon how I'm going to present them. It's just based on the order that I discovered them. So heavy metal toxicity was the first thing. Now I'll give you, I like to tell stories because I think people learn better from stories. So heavy metal toxicity is very close and dear to my heart because I have learned that that is the one area of medicine that I believe is endemic, and that if modern medicine addressed it, we would probably eliminate the vast majority of chronic disease. Not all disease, but the vast majority, because 8 out of 10 people that die on our planet die of either heart disease or cancer. 2 out of 10 die from everything else. If you include neurodegenerative disease, then actually 9.2 or 92% of all people that die on this planet die of either heart disease, cancer, or neurodegenerative disease. 8% of death, this is according to the World Health Organization, 8% of causes of death is everything else. So you take homicide, suicide, you take accidental deaths, all natural disasters, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, wars, all disease processes, every cause of death, you put it all together, it only represents 8 out of 100 people dying. The other 92 are dying from neurodegenerative disease, cancer, or heart disease. If you eliminate neurodegenerative disease, 80% or 80 out of 100 people are dying from heart disease and cancer. So when we flip on our TV, we hear about this person was murdered, that car accident, this bus that went over the cliff, this war, so many people died. But we don't hear about cancer and heart disease, how many hundreds of thousands of people died. Now, that's a huge problem. And when you start understanding the role of heavy metal toxicity in cancer, in heart disease, in neurodegenerative disease, you start realizing, my God, this is related to everything. As an example, New England Journal of Medicine showed a study, direct correlation between the toenail clipping levels of mercury and myocardial infarction, heart attacks. A direct correlation. This is in the New England Journal of Medicine. The American Journal of Cardiology showed that patients that died of idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy, which is a fancy term for congestive heart failure that affects younger people, on autopsy, after they died, on autopsy, they found 22,000 times the level of mercury that was supposed to be in the myocardium within the heart tissue. Now, unfortunately, I don't have all the slides here to present to you, but there are DVDs back then, and this is all documented with the slides that you actually see the studies and everything. I just came from Charlotte, so I was running late. We didn't have time to put all that stuff together, but the point being that these are just 2 studies I'm pulling out, and I'm telling you that we have, according to the ATSDR, the Agency for Toxic Substance and Disease Registry, which is a subdivision of the Centers for Disease Control, who I've met with now twice. The last time was about 2 years ago in 2006. But according to their data, this is the ATSDR. It's one of their subdirectories. And on the internet, there's a place, if you go to atsdr.gov, I believe it is, there's a link there that's called Toxline, Toxline. And Toxline has all the references for all the studies. If you just type in cancer and mercury, it's amazing that if you just do this in Medline, you may find 20, 30 studies. But you do it under Toxline, there's like 600 studies. And this is data from like 5 years ago. Now, I'm not going to talk about, the reason I don't have all those slides is because I'm not giving the lecture on heavy metals, but I just want to give you an idea of how prevalent heavy metals are in our society.